Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the January 6th, 1997 edition of Monday Night Raw, and the match card is as follows. We had Owen Hart taking on Mankind in our opener, and next we had Fake Razor and Diesel taking up the undefeated Doug Furnas and Philip LaFawn, and in our main event, we had Bret Hart versus Vader. All right, guys. So this week was wild, and we are going to get into it. But first, we have a very special announcement to make.
Insane.
I know. So today, when this episode comes out, it'll be Thursday. So as of Tuesday, December 18th, we have officially been nominated for a sports podcast award in the best wrestling category, which is insane.
Crazy.
Absolute insanity. So I
Insane.
kind of did it on a whim. I was just kind of figured, let's just try it, see what happens, take a stab. You never know until you know. And I got the email today letting me know that we were officially on the short list. So there are going to be 10 podcasts in every category. But we are in the same category as like Kurt Angle's podcast, which you haven't gotten to Kurt Angle yet, but the people listening at home will know who Kurt Angle is. In 1996, he won a gold medal for the United States in freestyle wrestling.
Wow.
And then he became one of the most decorated professional wrestlers to ever do it.
Oh my God.
So
why are we here?
We're honestly,
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited. Somebody likes what we're doing. But I just wanted to say that is a direct testament to everybody that listens, views, interacts with us. We don't get our name out there if nobody's listening.
So true.
So we really, really, really appreciate it. And we are going to be asking a little bit from you guys going forward. So for the next, I believe it'll be the next month or so, the voting will be open, and we will be just asking if you enjoy what we do and you find value in what we do to please help us out and vote for us. And we can just see how far we take this.
Please.
So
I know. It's so crazy. Very exciting stuff. Thank you guys so much.
Very exciting stuff, especially because we are a very new show in the grand scheme of things. And
we just got here, girl.
Yeah, no, we started about 8 or 9
it's my first day
months ago. And to have reached this kind of milestone and be put in the same category with wrestling legends is
so true,
insane. And a ton of other podcasts that I don't have the list in front of me, but have clearly doing something right. So
yeah, it's like, when it's like the joke if like Oscar nominee or whatever is just like they are just like, I'm just grateful to be nominated. It's like a whole thing, but like I get it.
You really
are
fully
like
get
just
it. Yeah.
so
I'm just grateful to be here. Just grateful.
Yeah, just grateful to be here. Just grateful to see like the name on paper. Like I don't even know us alongside these crazy, amazing individuals. It really is like, no, I am like just grateful to be nominated. This is so bizarre.
Right. No, so absolutely. Amazing. No, and
so cool.
It was something I was not expecting. I was really not getting my hopes up. We're so new. I had no idea.
We are literally new to wrestling. Well, me.
Yeah. One of us more so than the other. But yes. Yes. We are absolutely just blown away. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This is awesome.
We will have links for where you can vote posted in the description of this episode, as well as all over our socials. So don't worry, we will hit you with that.
We will.
But without further ado, let's get into the episode. Let's see how we're doing. All right,
nuts.
we are on the road to the Royal Rumble. We have about 2 weeks left, and
yeah, we flopped, you guys. We thought it was next week, and
we fully believed it was next
fully
week.
flopped. I was like, we gotta watch Royal Rumble. It's gonna be Royal Rumble for Christmas.
Yeah, yeah,
Flopped. We
yeah.
got a whole other episode after this, which I'm a little relieved because I'm supposed to make my prediction, and now I have an extra buffer episode. Though I think later I'll make a tentative prediction.
Yeah, let's go with
And
that.
then solidify my choice
with
next
further
week
information.
Yeah, but I have a tentative prediction that I'll explain, but we'll get into it.
All right. All right. So the episode opens with a kind of promo from Vader about the main event that's going to be taking place. And it happens to be just about 3 inches from his face.
Swear. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've ever heard him say words. Like usually it's Jim yelling and Vader grunting. And like that's it. Like he's just like kind of I think I said it, I was like he's just like a caged animal that like Cornette like pokes.
Right, and then like sends out, like a bull, like
yes, fully. And so I was like, that's his voice. I didn't even. There it is. And but
that's
again, yeah, it was right directly into my mouth. It was
literally,
literally
from his
words
mouth
directly
to mine. Apparently,
swear to God, like could not be any closer.
He was in there
to me.
What it's fine. It
was still a good promo. Like I wasn't mad. Like it just
no, it was fairly brief. I was just alarmed that the opening of the episode was Vader's face.
Yes, it was a little jarring to the senses for sure.
Oh, so in our opening bout, we have Owen Hart with Clarence Mason taking on Mankind and Paul Bearer, who we haven't really seen in a good minute, not since he lost to the Undertaker at what in your house. It's time. There we go.
Wow. Yeah.
It almost like escaped me what the last pay-per-view was, but I was like, oh no, got it.
Found it right in time.
So yeah, we haven't seen him in a minute, so it was a little bit of a surprise.
It was, yeah.
Mankind comes out, does his thing. They had a really cool shot of him like rocking in the corner, really playing up the insanity angle a bit.
Yeah, it was like a cool light. Like it looked almost like a window, like as if he was like in. It was really cool. It was well done. It was like almost like he was like in a cell or something, and it was just like the one window and like the high part of the cell that like illuminates it with moonlight, and he's just like there rocking. Like they really painted a picture.
No, really I agree. Amazing. Yeah, it looked like how like when you're like reading a book and like the chapter sometimes has like a little picture.
Yeah, like just right at the beginning. Oh, yeah,
just right at the beginning. It like gave like that kind of vibe. Like I was like, oh, like we're opening the book of Mankind, and like it is. We are on chapter like incarcerated.
Yeah, that's like his origin, like the beginning. Like it starts in jail. Wow, no, that is 100% what it looked like. Yeah, for sure.
And then the commentators made mention of when they. I don't know. I think it was Vince. He was like, "Oh, like what's like?" Or Jerry was like, "What's that smell?" And Vince was like, he was like, "Oh, I think like," or Jerry was like, "Oh, I think he's wearing like Michael Jordan's like cologne." And Vince very like matter of factly just goes, "No, I think that's formaldehyde." And you're just like,
it was so weird. I think Jerry the King like so Owen and Mankind start wrestling, and like Mankind gets like kind of pushed to like the commentary table, and Jerry the King was like, "Oh, what's that smell? Mankind must be wearing that Michael Jordan cologne." And I was like, "What did Michael Jordan do to you?" First of all, and then then Vince was like, "No, that's just formaldehyde." It's like, why, first of all, why do you know that?
Right. And then he's like, and then he's like, when Paul Bearer is around, there's always a like distinct,
an odor.
Right, odor. And I was like,
But then you're also like, now we're associating Michael Jordan's cologne with formaldehyde.
Right.
Like that's now we're making that connection in our brains. Why? What did Michael Jordan do?
Why?
Why? I didn't ask for those synapses in my brain to fire and make that connection. But you did that. And I want to know why.
You did that. Absolutely. This match was great. Owen Hart, so technically sound. I love when Mankind, because he's such a like just like brawler, just like anything I can do while I have my hands on you, like I'm gonna do. And whereas Owen always approaches things just more tactically, just that is his default, is just a very scientific wrestler.
You could even tell it from like the jump, like when they first started, we were saying he looks like Owen looked very wary, Like he was like looked really freaked out, but he was like calculating.
Right.
Like Mankind just goes in and is like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr," and then
Right.
like Owen is like,
Let me think
he
about
was like
this for a second.
assessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were a ton of like fantastic reversals. There was like
Yeah.
a really fantastic. Like it was just like they were all really clean. They looked phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
There was one point where they're on the outside kind of like feuding and it looks like Mankind's going to hit Owen with a chair, but Owen grabs the slammy and gets to him first.
Stabs him in the gut.
Ooh, right there, yeah. And then he takes the tag team championship belt and knocks him with it also.
There were a lot of props in this match.
Oh, absolutely. And there was also they made mention of the fact that there's apparently a little bit of a rift between Owen and the British Bulldog, which we've kind of
We kind of know.
been knowing. But I
Yeah.
think they just need to like bring bring it back up.
Like
I
reminder, yeah.
Yeah, I have an inkling it's because that is going to be the reason they lose the tag team championships at the Royal Rumble.
Well, that would make
That
sense.
would make a lot of
That would
sense.
make a lot of sense.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
And they're
Just
also
take that little
both,
nugget and run with it.
because they're also both competing in the Royal Rumble, like in the actual, like they're two of the 30 people.
Correct. Correct.
So that might create some
Drama.
tension.
Yeah, yeah. I love that about the Royal Rumble because it's every man for himself. That you get to see tag team partners like go at it. I
Yeah.
always love that.
Yeah,
Always
because
loved
I
it.
want to watch them wrestle each other because I just wrestling when they wrestle together as a tag team, we've said it literally 10,000 times, they're just so good together.
Right.
And like so the rift that's being created is obviously just interesting storytelling, but also
Mm-hmm.
like I just want to see the two of them wrestle against each other because I just can't even picture what that must look like.
Right.
Like it must
Right.
be
Right.
sick. Like it must just be crazy. So like I really want to
Mm-hmm.
see that.
And
So let
I always no no I always really love when tag team champion or like not champions but tag teams end up doing that, like they one turns on the other or whatever,
same.
because just the psychology of I've stood on the apron and watched this person wrestle night in night out, like every day I
Mm,
traveled with this person, and then, like to be on the opposite side of that for both of them because they both do the same thing, where it's
yeah.
like it becomes a very much more like a chess game than in other kind of matches where they're just kind of like thrown into it without like a history, without such a history.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point. Like I've literally been studying you, not even
Right.
intentionally, just like I just
Through
know you that well.
osmosis. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
through osmosis, yeah. By proximity, yeah.
So Vince McMahon confirms that Shawn Michaels will be on commentary for the Bret Hart uh main event against Vader. But then he also makes mention that Jose Lothario will be joining Shawn Michaels, but he will be on the Spanish like announce table, and Jerry the King has
Oh,
himself
girl.
just some good old fashioned racism.
This was
Just
out of line.
no, this man he goes.
Mm-mm.
They were talking about the condition of Jose Lothario, and Jerry basically goes, "Oh, have his veins cleared from all those tacos and like
He
whatever
named
that he's
every
been eating."
Mexican food you could think of. He
No,
was like from all the
literally.
refried beans, enchiladas, tacos, burritos,
And then
and
he said something about like
jalapenos,
under an X-ray, like they like saw like a jalapeno, like, and I was like, oh my
fully
god,
clogged in his like heart. And we're
yeah.
like,
I was like,
just
first of all, no,
oh
no, no, no.
no.
I know. We know that we are looking through this through the lens of 2023. Don't come for us. We get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
We know.
Objectively, though, no.
No, because still like I'm sorry, like it's kind of low-hanging fruit.
It is low hanging fruit. You
It's
have nothing else
low-hanging,
to say
yeah.
about this man. You know, like, mm, it's just
Yeah.
tired. It's
It
just tired.
it is. It's just like it wasn't
Necessary.
it wasn't necessary. It was just like kind of like okay,
Great.
like all right, whatever. Just it was just
So
no. It was a no
yeah,
for me.
just
Thanks.
another jarring reminder of the time that we are in.
Yep.
So Owen and Mankind are outside of the ring, and Owen has the advantage for like a hot second, until Mankind throws him kind of into the like the barricade area, and then
Yeah.
picks up this like a almost like a busboy bucket just full of drinks, which I guess were for like the commentators or something, and just takes it, dumps all the drinks all over the place so that it's just like soaked, and
Yeah.
then hits him over the head with the bucket, and then like proceeds to bring him into the ring where he basically has the majority of the match from that point forward.
Right.
Uh, because from that point, he gets Owen up into like a pile driver position, slams Owen on his head, and gets the pinfall victory.
Yeah.
So that's that on that one.
Yeah, I don't know why I was like surprised that Mankind won. And Xavier's like, I mean, he's beaten the Undertaker. I'm like, no, I know that. It's just like I guess because we haven't seen him
Mm-hmm.
in a few weeks, I was like, I didn't expect him to like just pop out his little hidey hole and just like beat
Yeah,
Owen
right.
Hart. Like, I don't know. Like it just kind of like threw me off, but like, I mean, it was such a good match. At one point, like Owen Hart like bit the mandible claw. And
Oh,
what I did love about
absolutely bit him just for dear
just
life.
his gnawed on it with his little teeth on his fingers. Great, love to see it. What I did love about this matchup is that both of them, like Owen Hart fights dirty and Mankind fights like without restraint, which is like
Yes.
same but different.
Right.
Like it's not like Mankind is intentionally like I'm gonna like slap you with the title belt. Like he just kind of like uses what's around him because he's so manic. Like he'll just grab the chair,
Right.
or, like grab the bucket or whatever. And like Owen Hart will be like more intentional, like you were saying, like he's more calculating, but it is like still the same flavor of just like
Right.
anything can happen. Like
Right.
Owen Hart hung him out on the barricade.
Oh, on the yeah,
Mankind
on
on the
the
barricade.
steel
Like,
barricade, which is the barricade
yes.
is like generous because it's really just like
It's like a
a very
fence.
thin steel, like yeah, great that he just
Yeah.
got like just absolutely just tossed over, just like skewered by.
Yeah. Like
Ooh,
it was very, it gave like no holds barred energy. Like the ref was like, I guess like half blind. Like I don't know, because so many
yeah.
things happen that like
Mhm.
were just so crazy. But that was an interesting juxtaposition of like the different ways that like wrestlers kind of like push the boundaries. Like
I,
Mankind is just feral and then Owen Hart is calculating. Just
yeah,
interesting.
it's just like too like it how they approach like being a heel or like a bad guy is very different.
Yes. Oh, true, true, true. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. I didn't even
where
think of
like
that.
you're like spot on. Like Mankind is just so manic that like he's dangerous because like you just don't know what is
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
Whereas Owen is dangerous because he knows exactly how he's going to do it.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's
Yes.
like, and
Exactly.
that's what's like, it's like that's intimidating in a whole other sense. Where it's like now I gotta like look out for like you intentionally trying to be like a sneaky like
Oh my God.
whereas like Mankind you just can't prepare for really because he hasn't prepared.
I don't even know which I would find worse.
I honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. That would be really hard. This was actually like, now that I'm thinking about it, it really is like low key what a great matchup that was. Like just to even
Hmm.
like put that in your brain. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing bookending this with hearts this episode.
Honestly, true. I didn't even think of that either. Hello? Like wake up. Like
They knew
wow.
what they were doing. It was great.
Totally.
So after that, we get to the backstage kind of area where Shawn Michaels is with Jose Lothario and Jose Lothario's son Pete, who has made has made his little debut.
Yeah, in his 10-gallon hat.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
said, "Don't mess with Texas girl."
So basically, uh Sean just kind of goes on about, Psycho Sid once again, he recaps what he has done to Jose Lothario. They talk to Pete for like a hot minute, just basically being like, oh, like you've been taking good care of your father. He's been like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like what Psycho Sid did to like our family, like really scared us. Like we thought we were gonna lose him, blah blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And then Sean goes like, "That's right. You've pissed off the whole like Lothario family, and you've pissed me
Yeah.
off. So you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that." And then he's
And
asked about. Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, and then did Pete mention like if I have to jump in at the Royal Rumble, I will, or
Yes,
something?
yes,
Because I
yes,
was like,
yes.
is he gonna jump at the Royal Rumble? Because things happen later. We'll get to,
Right,
and
absolutely.
I'm like, if he,
Hmm.
he,
And then after that, Vince asks Sean about joining them on commentary, and he's like, "You're not going to interfere, are you?" And he's like, "I would never. I would never. I've promised once. I've promised twice. I would never."
I would never
Literally,
do
like you
that.
half expect him to just be like turned around with like his hands, just like.
Yep, like oh my god, I literally smacked my arm trying to imitate Shawn Michaels. Yeah, you just expect him to be like doing like I would never do that.
No, fully,
That
like
doesn't sound
full.
like me.
I would die if just one day he just does the Debbie Ryan and like doesn't even like realize it. Just oh my
He
god,
has to. We're like
because like that
it's
is
like
the pet. Oh, just like me. Like I would
c'est moi.
never.
Yeah,
I
seriously,
love
like
it. I am
or
loving.
she's like,
No,
oh my
fully.
god, I bet he will. God, please.
Because like
Don't
I
ask
am
for much.
living for this new flavor of Shawn Michaels that
I love him.
he has just dunked himself in petty. Like he's just like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I was like,
Fully
he said later on
saturated.
commentary, he's like, being nice has gotten me nowhere. So
I mean,
clearly, I don't care anymore. I don't need allies. I don't need friends. I was like, it's just me, myself, and I. And I was like, oh,
no friend
I
in
was
the
like,
no friends in
sir,
the industry. So crazy. I love it. I love he's like literally just like this. Like
just
just like that's
just
his
like
whole
waiting.
personality right now.
Just like, just try it. Just try
I would never do
it.
that. Like just right in the pocket.
So
Crazy.
to further the Ahmed Johnson Farouk slash Nation of Domination storyline, we got to cut to what is their newest show? What is Saturday Night?
Saturday Night Fever Unhinged Nightmare Fantasy. I do not even
So essentially, Crush was taking on Ahmed Johnson during this match, in which basically it boiled down to all of the Nation of Domination essentially like attacking Ahmed Johnson until they fight outside, where Ahmed Johnson pulls one of the members of the Nation onto a car and performs a pile driver on him just on the roof of the car.
on a sedan.
And honestly, wrestler of the week is that Sedan, who
So,
didn't immediately collapse under the weight of the both of them.
I mean, I'm saying they don't build them like that anymore. That's crazy.
No.
I don't, you guys have to remind us what the name of the show is because I don't remember, but if I could go back in time, the way I would be at this show is crazy because it's like they basically like, and I'm sure you guys who have been watching wrestling know what this is. I've never seen anything like this where it's like they announce some like random location in New York and they're like, yeah, come through for a show on it's Saturday night, like at night, like super late. And it's like unhinged wrestling. Like the ring is like floor level, basically. Everyone's just in there. It's like a club. It's like a warehouse club, but there's wrestling and it gets so crazy in there just from the clips that we've seen.
Yes.
It
I'm going to
gets
talk
so
about the next clip, which is just absolute insanity.
chaos. I was like, though, I would be in there so quick. Like, just because that is just the type of unhinged shenanigans I want to witness.
I'm going to save the next clip for when it ties into the episode.
Yeah.
But what else happened on this show? Absolute insanity.
And this is following us saying that Ahmed Johnson did a pile driver on top of a car in the streets on 56th Street in New York.
Right.
There's more.
There's more. And it eclipses that.
By
like,
a long shot.
Eclipses it by a mile. So we're gonna get to that. Hold on. Hold on. First, we have to get to this tag team match, which is Fake Diesel and Razor taking on Doug Furnace and Philip LaFon.
Yep.
Doug Furnace and Philip LaFon undefeated up to this point.
Yep.
Since their debut. For some reason, the Honky Tonk Man is on commentary for this one. He's still on the look for his like, I feel like he's having his own show of like America's Next Top Model, but like he's the only one aware that the show is going on.
100%. It's almost even more like America's Got Talent.
You know what? You're actually right.
But like
you're right.
like if he had a button with like the X, like the like he would do that, like without a doubt.
fully, because like throughout the match, he like one of the contestants would be like doing something, and he'd be like, "Oh, like they'll be like, what do you think about him?" And he's like, "I don't know. Like, can he sing and dance and play guitar?" Like, and you're just like, I don't know. I was like, he's wrestling right now. I didn't see him pull out his guitar. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like what do you want me to do? Like do a home check? Like what are you talking about?
It's
like
a very specific person that he's looking for.
It's
Like
a long list.
these are a lot of characteristics that need to be met. He needs to be able to sing, dance, play guitar, and apparently never lose. Like these are like,
and this is why I'm saying my theory. I just feel like it has to be Double J.
It would make the most sense.
Who
It would make the most sense, honestly.
Like, Razor Ramon is not getting a guitar and singing while he walks in. Like that's just I just don't envision
Razor
that.
Ramon like barely opens his mouth to like insult like when he's like walking down. He's just
that's
like,
it. He's just got that little toothpick in and he does nothing.
Right.
So like to me, I'm like, this long list of requirements, the only one in my mind that fits it is Double J.
Right.
That's it. So
that's our prediction.
I feel strong about that. And if not, I have no idea who else is the sleeper cell with the karaoke vibe somewhere in the locker room, but right, I got no idea. I got no idea.
So, inconspicuous by his absence on commentary was Jim Ross, who has been present for every single moment that Razor and Diesel have been on television since they were reintroduced to us.
He's like a toxic boyfriend to them. Like he just like love bombed them in the beginning and then like briefly mentioned he's like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it anymore. And then literally fully ghosted them.
Fully left them high and dry. Just like
high and dry.
No, nothing for you. Nothing for you.
Nothing to say.
So, we had this wild moment on commentary. So there's this moment where the honky tonk man is like talking about his hair and like he was like, oh, they asked him about like one of the competitors, like if his hair, Razor Ramon, if his hair was like greasy enough, like the vibe like for him. And the honky tonk man's like a little dab will do ya. And he's like, oh, you could use some of that, King. And Vince goes, oh, like, do you even like need that with all of that? Like, do you wear the crown like everywhere, like every day? And then Jerry turns around and is like, do you wear that toupee every day? And which is, like Jerry, we love to see it. But what Vince answered with was like, he goes, I have a number of them. And like, then he goes, like,
I wear different
like,
ones
never mind.
Different day. And then he's like, wait, never mind.
Right. And we were just like, Vince McMahon admits he wears toupees live on air.
Like, and has like multiple ones for different days. Like, what are they labeled? Like Monday through Wednesday.
It's giving Moira from Schitt's Creek.
Swear to God, all the wigs
where he has them all just like on the wall.
Yes, and they all have legit names and personalities. Like I know he has a weekend toupee. I just know it, like one specifically for weekends.
I mean, I feel like you gotta.
Oh, if you're gonna do it, you gotta have a weekend one, like because that one's gonna get rowdy. It's gonna go out. It's gonna have different flavors, and like you have to. Like I'm not wearing my Monday toupee on a Saturday night. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
What do you take me for?
A fool, apparently.
Not me.
So
oh my God.
We had a little moment like during this match where it looks like Razor was gonna go for the tag to Diesel, and Diesel just like didn't take the tag. So I don't know. I don't know if that is like a mistake as far as like Razor wasn't supposed to go for the tag at that point, or if it's supposed to be like building to something. I couldn't tell. Like I couldn't tell because they are also both participants in the Royal Rumble match, as well as having a tag. No, not them. I'm lying. Razor and Diesel are both participants in the match. So this may be kind of like the starting to separate.
Oh, because also the necklace thing happened.
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago. That's why I'm like, like what's going? Maybe this is like a slow burn, you know?
It's very slow if it is a slow burn. They're they are very slowly sowing the seeds of discord.
Right.
It is yet to fruit. But we are anxiously waiting. Oh, that's a good point. Because literally he put his hand out and like literally Diesel was like, I've never seen that man before in my life.
Right. Like had his hands on his hips, was just like, I was like,
he's like, have you guys seen this?
They didn't mention it on like commentary. So that's what made me believe that it was like he may have just like skipped the part in his head about what they were supposed to be doing and just like I don't know, it was weird. It was chunky. But this match is like phenomenal for 3 reasons. 1, Diesel showed out as far as for his team. Razor didn't really have much. He was like getting like anytime Razor was in the like match, it wasn't going his way. When Diesel would come into the match, his power and his size was like harder to contend for the other two.
100%.
Because Doug Furnas and Philip LaFawn are like suplex masters. They
I
will
love them.
throw you around
And
if
they do
they are like physically able. And
they do
like,
the craziest reversals.
oh, absolute insanity.
The
They're
craziest.
so, and it's because they've been a team for a lot longer than we have seen them.
Right.
They're so seamless. They're very in sync. They're like right there with each other, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal to see. Um, so they did a maneuver which I wanted to just call out, which was the sunset flip like drop kick that they did. So essentially that's when one of them like flips over their opponent and tries to like bring them down into like that pinning predicament where their legs
Uh-huh.
are like over their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But he was trying to do it on Diesel, who's a massive just statue of muscle. So he wasn't doing it. So Doug Furnas hits him with the drop kick and like knocks him over, and they get a close
Teamwork.
call, but it wasn't quite the finisher. They don't get that until they get Razor up into the electric chair, which is when they have him up on one of their shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and then hits him with the clothesline from the middle rope,
Love
which
to see
gives
it.
Furnas and LaFawn the victory, which means they are still undefeated heading into their tag team championship match against Owen Hart and the British Bulldog.
I'm really excited. I love them so much. They are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like just outrageously good.
Mm-hmm.
I like don't I don't even know. They're so talented, like tactical, athletic. They do these insane moves. The electric chair was wild. Even
Right.
the move that you pointed out, like the teamwork and like Diesel's like wobbling, like it was literally like taking down a tree and like he like
Oh,
I don't know.
absolutely.
I don't even
This
know, like I don't even have the words. I'm just really excited because I would love to see them. I'm like excited to see them fight for the title because I feel like it's gonna be sick.
and especially because the kind of wrestlers that they are is very complementary to the kind of wrestlers that Owen is in
Yes,
particular as far
exactly.
as their team goes. The British Bulldog's more of like a power wrestler, but like, he can get technical, but really he's just like an ox, you know what I mean? Like he's just
Yeah,
built like brr.
yeah,
So as far as like I think it will be just a very like technically pleasing match.
yeah, for sure. And because they're like you said, they're so in sync, and like the fact that British Bulldog and Owen are having their problems, I
Could
don't know.
could spell disaster for the
There's gonna be
champion.
some silly mistakes. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I just
Uh
know it.
Amen. So after that match, we get a recap of Goldust versus Triple H from the prior week, which of course ended with um how, how did this end? This ended in the most chaotic fashion ever. So it
Swear.
ends with Triple H trying to kidnap
Everyone's dead.
Marlena. And then he gets stopped by Mark Miro. He throws Marlena into Mark Miro. They all get taken down by Goldust.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Chaos.
They do go into announce that next week we are going to see Goldust teaming with Mark Miro to take on Jerry the King Lawler and Triple H. So, that being said, we also get a cut to that Saturday night show once again, and Goldust is having a match. I don't even remember who it's
The
against.
Sultan.
The Sultan.
And he's got him in the camel clutch.
Ah, yes. So the Sultan has Goldust in the camel
Yeah,
clutch, and
I
they
gotta
go,
say,
Good for you. Good for
okay,
you.
I
Not
knew that.
me. Look,
Okay.
I love
Sorry,
that.
go
Love
carry
that.
on.
Love
Oh
that.
God.
I'm
Carry
so
on.
proud.
Carry on.
So um Goldust is in the camel clutch, and what does Marlena do to
Girl,
stand by her man? She runs up onto the ring apron, and she's wearing a little like a kind
halter
of like a
top.
shoulderless little over the top moment,
Yeah, a little
and
halter top.
she takes it and just flashes the Sultan and the entire audience just absolutely tits out, no given, none.
None.
She said you could see it all, baby.
She said
Straight
tits
shot
out
right
for
down
my
Main
man.
Street.
Swear to God, tits out for my man. And that's that. And I get it and I respect it. But like literally, this like people were like taking pictures. It was crazy. So Sultan, they're like, I don't know, like I didn't even see Goldust, like whatever. I was just like so fixated on what happened with Marlena. Obviously, we didn't see anything. Like it's just her back, but like it's just you just see the Sultan and then this whole crowd of people, and she just like,
and mind you, these are photos that they like. This is 1996. They have to go somewhere and get these photos
develop them.
developed.
Oh my god,
Like
this is not an iPhone 11.
This is the no digital cameras, no cell phones that could take pictures. They were committed to getting that on film.
And
they
like,
said,
I get it.
"Oh, if I was there, for sure. That is a moment to remember."
And not because I'm like I need to see Marlena's tits, but like I bet that picture is like iconic. Like she's like in
absolutely.
a ring in a basement warehouse kind of situation. Like there's minimal lighting. It's just a crowd of random people on like a Saturday night in New York City in 1996.
Right.
And like she just takes her tits out. Like, and the Sultan is like flabbergasted. And then Bob Backlund, who's there,
is having a conniption.
Literally has an apoplectic seizure. And
he's like throwing his like suit jacket like over her, like trying to like,
he's like,
distract.
Jesus, the female body.
No, please. Oh, absolutely. Which is hilarious because if you remember, like way back that one time on commentary where he's all like talking about like celibacy and like bringing back something to like America, and I was just like,
this couldn't have been a better situation.
No, literally, it could not have been juxtaposed better by a better, like, having Bob Backlund in that situation made it even more jarring.
It's already insane, and then Bob Backlund's reaction like elevates it even farther than you could possibly, because you're just shocked. You're like, oh my god. And then Bob Backlund's running up and throwing the thing, and like Sultan like let's go of Goldust. Like it's a whole mess. And now you guys understand, like, I want to go.
I want to go.
I want to go. Like, imagine having like a beer in a plastic cup and you're watching, and then Marlena takes her tits out, and like the Sultan, like,
let's bring back late wrestling, late night wrestling. Let's hit me with that, like after the late show, like give me that uncensored, like all the kids are tucked in bed, like wild wrestling.
Bring it back, and I want like a password at the door. Like that you have to be like in the club, like to like you get the text, and it's like the password is like Bob Backlund smells, and like you have to like go to knock on the door.
Oh no, like a speakeasy. I want it. I want that. In this vein, if you enjoy this kind of show, I have another idea. Do you want to hear my idea?
Yeah.
Oh you know of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling? We have talked about.
Yes, of course.
So it is very much in that flavor.
Okay.
Very, very, very much in that flavor. And I don't know if you know anything about Philadelphia sports fans.
I do. Via you and our friends, but
you take that energy and apply it to essentially late night professional wrestling. Like these are bloodthirsty fans. Like they are not shy about telling you when you messed up, when they didn't like what you did, when they don't like you, but they're also not shy of when they love something.
Oh, yeah. They don't make them like Philly. I'm just going to say that. They like
one of a kind, truly.
I mean, that both as a compliment and a derogatory statement. I mean, in both ways.
And I've learned that more and more since I've moved here. Like they don't make them like Philly. That is for sure.
It is both a compliment and a threat.
Yo, honestly.
Wow. I'm gonna see that.
So,
spin-off series, spin-off pod.
So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm gonna start pulling ECW clips. There's a lot of ECW. Mind you, ECW is running congruently with WWF right now, as well as WCW. All of these things are happening at the same time.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna start pulling some of those like wilder ECW clips.
Yeah,
because
pull the footage.
Because I think if you like that flavor, you're gonna love the vibe that is ECW.
I love that. Who do people not like that flavor? Like I like both. Like I like what we're watching, but then also like sometimes you just need that like
Some people, I'll here's the argument with this. This is
okay.
a tangent that I didn't think we were going to get into, but we're going to get into it.
Okay.
So, when we're talking about like that style of wrestling, which tends to be a lot more like hardcore, a lot more blood, a lot more weapons, a lot more just all over the place.
Uh-huh.
What tends to be the argument with that is, when do you get so far from wrestling that it's no longer the same thing?
Okay.
A lot of wrestling, like purists or like people who have like grown up in the tradition of wrestling up to this point, hated ECW.
Ooh.
Hated ECW
Interesting.
because they very much so spit in the face of like a lot of traditions. They said, we're going to do things the way we want to do things, and we're going to push the envelope in the quest of getting eyeballs on us.
Mm.
Because they knew that they couldn't compete on a production value with the WWF or WCW.
Okay.
WCW was backed by Ted Turner and was being filmed in like Disney Studios. So,
Right.
and the WWF has been along even up to this point for like 50 years and was the main yeah, it is the main wrestling promotion. So they were
Mm-hmm.
never going to be able to compete as far as like oh, like this is going to look as shiny and new on television. So they
Right.
said, we're not even going to bother. We're not even going to go that route. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the envelope as far as like sexuality goes, as far as brutality goes, like
Wow.
having hardcore matches. But what they did, which was really really intelligent on the part of Paul Heyman, who is the um the driving force behind ECW, is he brought in a lot of those um really 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 good technical wrestlers that we are going to come see in the WWF in the next couple years, in the next.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is they bring all of these wrestlers from like Japan and Mexico and all these other like really technical wrestlers. So like Chris Jericho came through ECW. Rey Mysterio has come through
Oh. Oh.
ECW. Eddie Guerrero came through ECW.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like really, really, really prominent wrestlers have come through ECW. Um, because what ends up happening is during this time period, we've talked about like the attitude like shift.
Mm-hmm.
And what essentially the attitude era, like, or at least the way that like I describe it, is I like to describe it as like kind of a more polished version of what ECW was kind of doing, just in a
Mm.
more palatable way for a larger audience, if that makes more
Wow.
sense.
No, it
Um,
does.
Whereas like ECW was really, really catering to like hardcore wrestling fans. But the thing about hardcore wrestling fans is the same thing about hardcore fans of anything. They will be there regardless.
Mm.
What the WWFE does really well is cast a wide enough net that they can get the casual fan.
Oh,
Um,
oh, so true.
so and
Oh,
that's
that makes a
kind
lot of
of like
sense.
where the like extreme like beef comes from.
Interesting. That is
Yeah,
fascinating. That's
right?
like a study of human psychology at this
It
point.
it's
Not to be
fantastic.
like over dramatic about it, but that's like really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Wow.
um,
And I love a story like that where it's like we didn't have all the stuff. We were already like working with a kind of like gritty base. So
like a
we just leaned,
shoestring budget and
yes, we
like
like leaned into it and just made it like we just like really we didn't pretend to be something we weren't. We just like really leaned into the grit that we were
right.
already working with. I kind of love that.
And like I liken them to like Nirvana of wrestling. Whereas like
Mm.
up until Nirvana, everything was like hair bands, flashy, lots of makeup, whatever. Nirvana
Yes.
comes is
It's
something
very
so
grunge.
different, so grunge, and a lot more relatable to especially like the youth of that time, where it's like that's exactly how it looked. ECW looked grunge. Yeah, and
This
that's
is
how
so
it
fascinating.
and that's how it like read, and that's how they had to do it. Otherwise, they weren't going to be able to compete at all. So yeah, so that's a little
That
like
is
brief little
so
synopsis
interesting.
of kind of like ECW and how it fit into this kind of like time frame.
Love
There's
that.
it's hard to encompass like how many things were going on between these three like promotions
Yeah, of
all at
course.
the same time.
Yeah.
But if you liked what this Saturday night show brought, ECW is definitely gonna have some moments for you that you're gonna really bite into.
Ooh, I love that. Because I mean, already right now, even just watching the like WWE is shocking to me. Like I like some of the stuff that happens, I gasp aloud. I am like always like on
Mm-hmm.
the edge of my seat. I'm always like, what is happening? So I can't imagine like being shocked more. I keep saying that every week because I know that like it's just even just within the WWF, like I know still so much is going to happen.
Right.
But I can't imagine like watching something so gritty like that and just being
Mm-hmm.
like ripped up from the insides, like
Yeah, yeah,
freaking
yeah.
out.
Don't worry. We will we'll
Sounds like
dive
a good
into some
time.
ECW. Don't worry.
Okay.
But back to this episode. So after Marlena's tits, we get a promo from Bret the Hitman Hart, and basically he keeps it short and sweet. He's
Mm-hmm.
asked about Shawn Michaels, and essentially the vibe is I wish a bitch would.
Oh,
Like essentially he goes, if he's gonna stick his nose out there, I honestly hope he does get involved because I'd love to get my hands on him.
yep.
So that was basically that on that.
He was like, F around, find out.
But
I would love to be find out.
right,
I would love to
100
play the role of find out.
100%. And then he just goes, as far as Vader goes, like, yeah, he's big, but he's stupid. And
Like,
then like, and that's it.
and that was it.
And that's
That
it.
was it.
He said, yeah, he big, but he dumb. So
Bye.
he's like, you don't even matter. Bye.
Literally so great. Everyone is losing it over there. Like I
And
love it.
oh, everyone's absolutely just like about to just like shoot out of like a cannon, like, and just hit
Yep.
each other. Like that's
It
how it
is
feels. Like everyone's just kind of like cocking up to just be released at the same time.
and just hit each other. It's
Oh.
really is that scene from Mean Girls where suddenly they're all like wild animals like fighting in the
Mm.
hallways and stuff. Like it really feels like that's what the Royal Rumble is going to be.
Oh, it essentially is.
Yep.
So straight from that Bret Hart kind of backstage promo, we get into a Psycho Sid interview in the ring, which of course we were mentally preparing for as his music was playing. I love that his music is just like one playing the entire time once again.
Yep.
Just
Mhm.
like the whole thing apparently needs an overture. But I love that his music just like starts with that like stabbing sound, and I just think
Yeah.
it's so funny. I don't know
Yeah.
why, because it's just like a 1980s just like, and you're like, okay, sir. I wonder if
All
the mic
right.
even picked that up. I'm like very curious because like
I
the
don't think it
last time
did
I tried to make like a squeaky noise, it just didn't.
because I didn't hear anything. It was just her mouth going. It was just like,
Okay, then I'll add it in or something.
thank God.
Um,
That's what I want to hear.
and then it was during this interview that we found out that it really is Psycho Sid who is both big and dumb,
Woo!
because the
Oh
man
my God.
because the man,
Girl.
he said it's either hit or be hitting.
Oh my
It's
God.
either kick or be kicking. And
You
I
can't make it
don't
up.
know how to tell you or explain to you past tense verbs and future slash present tense verbs. I don't think I'm
It
the
was
one that should have explained this to you. I feel like someone should have gotten to you sooner.
I feel like we didn't even have to explain like why hit or be hit.
Hit or be hitting,
I was
he
like, this
goes.
can't be real. This can't be really happening. And then he
And
was
then
like,
he
all right,
follows it up
kick or
with
be
kick.
kicking.
I was like,
We're like, no, 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 please, please let this not be real. Oh my, I literally have tears in my eyes. It was so bad.
And essentially he just goes in to just be like, I'm gonna walk in the man at Royal Rumble, I'm gonna walk out the man, I'm gonna walk into your hometown, the underdog, I don't even care. Why? Because it's easy. Why? Because I am the master and the ruler.
They love him so much though, the crowd.
They
I'm like,
love him, they
really?
eat
Hit
it
and be
up.
hitting did it for you?
Hit
That was
or
what it
be hitting. I want to get like a juicy, those like juicy tracksuits that just say like, I just want hit or be hitting just right over my ass. I just think it would be perfect. Hit or be hitting.
I hit or be hitting is so crazy. Like
I'm not over it. I'm
he
never
was
gonna
so
be over
dead
it.
serious. Like he was literally like, that's the word. That's how
Literally,
you
if
say
I
it.
start next week's episode, just like welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, hit or be hitting, like
I'm sorry.
don't be
New
surprised.
slogan just dropped. Beep, beep. But like
Oh,
I do feel bad because like that lives forever. Like we are watching it
forever.
now 20 years later. Like it lives forever. And like he said that and you can watch it at any time on Peacock.
100%. This
And
is
that
season 5, episode 1.
episode 1. Probably like a little more than halfway through. But like I feel because like I don't know, like do you think he realized or someone said like eventually like hit or be hitting Sid? Like
I wonder
and
if
he
he
just
like
listed like
came back like behind the curtain and
and
everyone was
was
just
like
like abiling eye contact just
they
because
have
they
like the
just like,
whiteboard up like okay, let's go over
yeah. I was like,
hit hitting.
the
That's it.
best part is it's the same word. Like it's the same.
Hit
It's
or be
hit
hit.
or be hit. That's
Kick or
it.
be kicked. But like
That's it.
hit or
That's
be hit.
it. That was hilarious. I cannot. But while we are basking in the glory that is Psycho Sid, Shawn Michaels' music hits, and he comes out in a little pea coat, belted all up, and just looking fine, just looking
All
all kinds
bundled
of
up.
fine, just like all smug with himself, just like, ooh, got one on you, as he's like walking around ringside. And then the sexy boy jumps on the commentary table and gives us a little strip tease. He
It was
said,
amazing.
da 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 da. Like he was all
Swinging.
about. He took off that peacoat. He's like shirtless under and
I
some like
knew it.
acid wash jeans.
Love it.
He was just absolutely being. He's just stepping up the petty game another level. He
I mean,
said,
he literally was like, let me get on. Like he said to Vince, is like, oh, is that my chair? Is that for me? And then he's like, he just stepped on it, stepped onto the table. Your peak coat's coming off. And I was like, oh my God. Like, but the funniest part is like, I will give this to Psycho Sid. He is like, he does play his role well because
right.
like he was just like doing his weird psycho laugh, but then he like waved at Shawn Michaels like as if he
Like
was
a
like a
little
little
kid,
kid at the playground. He was just like,
you're like,
we're like, wait, don't you guys hate each other? And
I
like
was like, aren't you crazy?
they exchanged some words, but it was just like kind of funny. Like he was just like
Hey.
the wave. I
And
can't.
then Psycho Sid, he's like, oh, like this is exactly like what I'm talking about. And then he goes into this apology, which is essentially says, like, I'm sorry for what I'm going to do, and then just leaves.
And you just know.
You just know.
Some shenanigans are about to occur.
Oh, 100%. You
And
know
the
this man is
shenanigans,
gonna come back and be absolutely ludicrous. And the
yes. And then
shenanigans was absolutely ludicrous.
it absolutely was. And then the shenanigan that didn't occur, which I was really upset about, is that Shawn Michaels still on the table. He came in without a shirt, with just the coat. The coat comes off. Then Shawn Michaels starts unzipping his pants. He starts undoing his belt and unzipping his pants. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. They cut to commercial.
They're not gonna give it to you that easy.
I was livid.
They said buy the magazine.
I swear to God, they said, hey, Playgirl. I was livid. And then by the time we come back, everyone's seated and appropriately dressed. Really, really infuriating, but
really upsetting. Really
I can't win them all.
Yeah,
You win some, you lose some.
Throw the gals in the gays, like something. Just throw us a bone.
Literally anything. Swear.
So in our main event, we had Bret the Hitman Hart taking on Vader. Bret Hart came out in his little all pink ensemble.
So
I love it.
cute.
I love the all pink ensemble.
I love the all pink.
HBK is, of course, sits himself right on commentary. Conspicuous by his absence is Jim Cornette, which we find
Yes.
out.
Best reason ever.
Best reason ever. So it cuts to WWF Superstars, which is another weekly show. Not gonna get into, where Jim Cornette is essentially on commentary talking all this ish because Vader will be taking on the Undertaker at the Royal Rumble. So he's basically just going on and on about what Vader's going to do to the Undertaker, and we get a classic Undertaker gong, blackout, and then he shows up not inches behind Jim Cornette, just waiting for his pudgy ass to turn around. He said,
he's hello.
so Jim Cornette's like absolutely having himself like a conniption as he does. He turns around and boo, there's the Undertaker.
Wow.
Fantastic. And then he
Stunning.
proceeds to throw Jim Cornette into the ring and tombstone pile drive him, thus keeping him out of action this week.
Jim Cornette is dead.
He looked like it. I will
He
say,
looked
I was
dead.
like, good job selling, Jim. Good job selling.
He literally, Undertaker, God bless you, sir, took time out of his beautiful day to tombstone Jim Cornette for all of us.
Oh, really?
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you for doing what you do for the good of the people. I respect it and have nothing but good things and feelings.
Absolutely. That was Kelsey's just
my love letter.
Yeah, to the Undertaker.
Dear Undertaker.
So after that, it kind of during the match, which is also phenomenal because
so good
because Vader is Vader, so he's just this like behemoth of a man, just absolute, hard to take down, hard to move around, hard to avoid because there's so much mass. So there's that, and of course there's Brett, trying to be tactical about it, evading out of corners when he can, getting like very strategic reversals. But it cuts to Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is watching in the back, who hasn't really had much to do with much right now. And that is and should be a little alarming to literally everybody.
Of course it should be.
Absolutely. Shawn Michaels was just an absolute gem on commentary as he is. Jerry the King Lawler makes some kind of remark about writing down all of these witticisms that Shawn Michaels has been saying about Bret Hart and showing it to him. And Shawn Michaels quips back, or you could just steal them like you always do and use them on next week's show. And I was dead. I had no idea that Jerry the King was getting scalped today. I
swear to God.
Crazy.
Blood on the floor. It was so quick and it was so vile. Ooh, we were both like, oh,
did he really?
Shot. I've been hit. It was so good.
As the match is progressing, Psycho Sid comes out and grabs a cameraman by the shirt and drags him backstage. As that is going on, Stone Cold Steve Austin runs down the entryway and stuns Bret Hart just on the ramp, just leaving him dead on the floor, so that Vader could come into the ring, dragging Bret and perform a Vader bomb on him, and then getting the victory.
So wild.
Honestly, was not expecting.
Not expected. And like Stone Cold came out of nowhere because I guess like Psycho Sid grabbed the camera that was on the ramp. So like you missed then, or yes, Psycho Sid grabbed the camera that was like on the ramp. So then like you missed Stone Cold like run in and like the camera, like there was a camera
like trying to catch up. Yeah.
Yes, and it was like I was like, is that Stone Cold? I was like in the back corner over there. Like I'm so confused.
Yeah. He literally then, he stunned him and left. Like he was just like
it was a drive by.
Literally.
Quick.
So Vader wins that match, leading into his match with the Undertaker, which is great. But it was alluded to earlier in the match that Bret Hart kind of needed this win. He's kind of been on the like losing end of a lot, and it has been like called out during the match that like he's essentially like a marked man in the Royal Rumble. Like he has so many people that have beef with him that like it could come from anywhere, essentially. And I love that Shawn Michaels after that comment was like, they was like, oh, he like really needs this win. And I was like, he was like, we all need a win. Like no one
Oh
comes out
my
here
God.
being like, oh, I really need to lose right now.
Really need
Like
a loss right now.
that's what I really need to do. Like, and I was just like, oh my God, you petty bitch. I
I know.
can't.
Oh
You're
my God, I
so
know.
funny.
Because it's so true. It's like one of those obvious statements where it's like, that's not necessarily what I meant, but like, yeah, obviously, we always want to win. But it's
Right.
like, not necessarily the sentiment, but it's like those kinds of comments that are just like, they really just
I
like,
eat them
ugh.
up. I eat
Yeah,
them up.
same. Oh my God. Mm.
So when we finally get to Psycho Sid and where he's dragged the cameraman, he
This poor
has
cameraman.
poor Pete Lothario
Oh,
because he
true, true, true,
power
true, true.
bombs him through what is essentially like a locker room bench,
Like a
so it looks
wooden,
like, or
yeah.
like a so um that happens, and you see both Sean jump out of commentary, and then you see Jose Lothario jump out of the Spanish commentary desk and start running to the
Oh
back.
my God, so
So,
sad.
and the whole
Tragic.
time, Psycho Sid's like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is gonna hurt me to do this. Like, blah blah blah. And I was like,
Shut up.
I think not.
I don't think so.
I,
I
I,
actually don't.
I'm feeling like you're pretty fine.
I actually think
Like,
you're in like really great health. Like if you were to ask me, like if you were to
um,
like put me to the
oh, it was
test.
wild. So by the
So
time they
shocking.
like replay it one more time, and then by the time they cut back to backstage, Jose is there, Shawn Michaels is there, and he is pissed. You see
Mad
him like
bro.
knocking over the like wooden thing. He's like, where are you? You like chicken shit. Like he's like, and then he goes
Cursing girl.
into the camera, and the like the audio from like whatever is just like all messed up. So he's like cutting in and out, and he's like cursing at the camera, like expletives.
Yep.
Because and like thank God the audio was cut, because like there would have been some fines that day.
Lots of
So
fines.
and then Kelsey mentions which just I had not really paid attention to, and that she goes, there goes Savio Vega on the ground floor once again. Like, just this man is everywhere.
I
He's your everyman. This man just shows up everywhere. He's
he
ready.
was
He's the first one in a fight. He's the first one when you need a tag team partner. He's the first replacement you think of. Someone gets hurt backstage, he's like down there apparently like tending first aid. You're like,
I swear to God, like providing like medical care. Like he's flying in from the rafter. He's appears out of the blue. Like he's always like I was like, is that Savio Vega again? I cannot everywhere. He is
I
basically
love it.
Batman. I literally like he is like the vigilante of the WWF at this point. Like it's
No,
so and he was
honestly.
like holding Pete like that was his child. He was like, somebody get the paramedics. Like, and he's like holding his head. I was like, Savio, you don't even have stake in this game. Like, what are you even doing here? I love that guy.
Honestly.
Love that guy. But I just
Honestly.
want to say, first of all, I love Shawn Michaels. The way that he ran when he saw Pete was
Ran.
about to get put through the table or the wooden whatever it was. And then the heartbreaking tragedy was Jose Lothario's like old man jaw, like trying to run, like to save his
Oh,
son. My God, it was
storytelling. He's so good.
it was so good. I get so outraged on their behalf. It's
Honestly.
crazy.
And
It's
like, and
crazy.
that's how you know he's good. Like, you're
I
pissed
know.
for him. You're
Like
pissed for him.
Shawn Michaels was like leaping over chairs and like it gave like almost like Lion King energy for some reason.
Very like,
Like
yeah, when he's
Simba's at the
running like
gorge
back to Pride Rock.
or that. Yeah. Like he's do 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 do. Do.
Yes,
But
exactly.
like, oh, Stampede in the
Amazing.
gorge. Simba's down there. Track star.
Hey, man.
Just can't.
All
And then
right, guys.
it just ends like
It just
that.
ends like that. Just it goes black.
Everyone's
Everyone's just tending
Shawn
to
Michaels
Pete
cursing into the
Lothario.
camera. In the camera, Pete Lothario is dead. Well, not really. Grievously injured, and like everyone's
Right.
gunning for Psycho Sid. Where is he? Blah blah blah. Ends. Black.
Ends. Leaves you high and dry. So now we have gotten to the point where we would like to hear your tentative prediction for the Royal Rumble and your reasoning.
Okay. Now, first of all, in my defense,
before we start this, we have one more week, so new information could sway this.
true.
So
This is my tentative prediction, and then after next week, I will like lock it in.
Right.
So right now, And please just keep in mind, I'm literally new to wrestling. This is the name of the podcast, so no one come for me if this is so wrong. I, for some reason, want to say Bret Hart. Here's why. Because, one, they talked about a lot this episode how a lot of people are gunning for him, how he really needs a win. He is, like, obviously still gunning for the title. Like, there's a lot and obviously whoever wins the Royal Rumble, right, gets a shot at the title. Okay. So after I just want to let you guys know how committed I was this. I asked Xavier this morning to screenshot the list of all 30 participants in the Royal Rumble because I was too scared to look it up because I thought it would tell me who won.
It 100% would have. It would have.
I got the
upon
list
looking
this
it up,
morning.
I was like immediately like.
So I have not looked it up. So I had the list, like the screenshot list, and I was going through and I was like, I don't know why. I just like feel like, first of all, like the fact that Bret Hart, if I'm like going back in his story, like he was gone for 6 months, he has this like amazing comeback, and then he's like kind of been like knocked out at the knees like a lot since his comeback, and I just feel like he really needs like something like this, something so crazy where like everyone is gunning for him, but he comes out on top anyway to like kind of solidify the fact that like not only does he deserve a shot at the title, like he deserves the title. Like even though he was gone, like he's still the wrestler that everybody loves. He's doesn't have ring rust. He's like really still that guy, like the excellence of execution. And so I feel like having him win the Royal Rumble would just be crazy, especially like I said, everyone is gunning for him. They made it that a point so much. Like they said it so much tonight. And he has like really the odds stacked against him. So I feel like he's really like an underdog right now. So that's my tentative
Heard. All right.
My tentative
guys, so this
assessment.
is Kelsey's tentative pick for the Royal Rumble is Bret the Hitman Hart. Now, this is just a plea from me, the host, and my very, very new to wrestling co-host. Please don't tell her.
Oh my God, please. We've come so far.
We've come so far. We're so
Don't
close.
do this.
So we know. I know that watching 30-year-old wrestling is going to come with some spoilers.
This is true.
However,
somehow I don't know this though.
The joy that I get from watching someone experience wrestling for the first time is unmatched. So for Kelsey's sake, for the sake of the show, don't spoil it. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
All right, guys. So that has been this week's episode of the New to Wrestling podcast. As always, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for listening, watching, commenting, wherever you find us. We will be updating you on the Sports Podcast Awards. Thank you again to the Sports Podcast Awards for the nomination. Congratulations to all the other nominees in all of the other categories. There's lots of sports. They run down them. We appreciate the nod, and we will do our best to earn it.
Yeah, we'll keep bringing it. Hopefully,
we'll keep bringing it. All right, guys. So we will catch you next week. Thank you very much. Have a good night,
guys. See you.
Bye.